Mom, yeah, I'm black. That's just how it is. No, no, you know what? You've been hanging around black people. You've been hanging around black people, and they got you thinking you black. They twisted your mind. It's like, no, Mom, I'm black. That's just how it is. What did I do? What did I do? I knew I shouldn't have let you watch Soul Train. Was it Soul Train? No, Mom, it wasn't Soul Train, Mom. It's just who I am. I was just born black. Oh, you weren't born black. I don't want to hear that. You weren't born black. The Bible says Adam and Eve, not Adam and Mary J. Blige.
Good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock. I'm Luciano D'Iorio. Gray afternoon. The temperature right now is 1 degree. Full weather coming up after the news. Here's what's making news right now. Molson workers accept. Busy day for Montreal firefighters. And
the police investigation continues into the nerve agent poisoning of a former Russian agent and his daughter. I'm Larry Miller in London.
From the CJAD 800 Traffic Center, Kira Yeager.
There's a delay for the inbound Champlain Bridge, also a delay for the inbound LaFontaine Tunnel. So right now for the inbound LaFontaine Tunnel, it's gotten quite difficult. You're backing out to Desmartines, and it's due to road work going on. I believe they are repairing potholes inside the tunnel. Definitely head on over to the inbound Jacques Cartier if you can. It's a much better option. And the inbound Champlain, a half-hour delay over there to be avoided as well. There's a closure at Nuns Island with a detour onto the Bonaventure. In this case, Victoria, Jacques Cartier are both good options going downtown, going to the West Island. Head on over to the Mercier. We also have a slowdown on the westbound Ville Marie right now due to all those closures in the Turcotte interchange. The 2018 Chevrolet Silverado, with its powerful engine and comfortable interior, it's got everything you need to take on winter. Discover their offers at chevroletoffers.ca. Traffic and transit every 15 minutes on CJAD 800. Next report 1:15.
In the news, they said yes to the offer. Union says 55% of workers at Montreal's Molson plant have voted to accept a new contract offer. The bottling and delivery employees had earlier rejected two offers, and the union had been given a strong strike mandate. The main issues included wages and group insurance. Union also saying roughly 440 workers attended today's meeting. Busy day for Montreal firefighters. They were called to what was first a 3-alarm blaze in the plateau, then grew into 5. Fire broke out in the basement of Restaurant Universel on Saint Denis Street at Cherrier. It spread quickly, and about 10 people had to be forced from upstairs units. Here's Fire Department spokesperson John Primiani.
It's a fire that started in the cellar, which is we have a hard access to the cellar, and there's a lot of problems with the fire went from the cellar all the way to the third floor.
Seems no one was injured, and the cause is yet to be determined. Area traffic has been rerouted. It's being described as pervasive fraud among auto body shops. An investigation by major insurer Aviva Canada. The spokesman Gordon Rasbach says the shops acted dishonestly in fixing 9 of 10 cars involved in fender benders staged by the insurance company.
It's the clear-cut fraud that would satisfy a criminal burden. Parts that just were never damaged or replaced with like used parts, and they were billed as new, or damage was deliberately done.
Aviva says more than half the total costs billed for repairs turned out to be fake. Trump administration officials expect no more conditions imposed on North Korea before a first-ever meeting of the two nations' leaders.
I'm Tom Foti. The White House is confident the Donald Trump-Kim Jong-un meeting will happen.
This potential meeting has been agreed to. There are no additional conditions being stipulated, but they cannot engage in missile testing, they cannot engage in nuclear testing, and they can't publicly object to the U.S.-South Korea planned military exercise.
Deputy White House spokesman Rod Shaw on ABC's This Week, with CIA Director Mike Pompeo insisting
the whole time this conversation takes place, the pressure will continue to mount on North Korea.
He was on CBS's Face the Nation. Tom Foti, CBS News, Washington.
Up to 500 people in Salisbury, England may have been exposed to a potentially deadly nerve agent used in an attack on a former spy for the United Kingdom and his daughter. Russia is suspected, but a CBS News correspondent Larry Miller tells us police in London are waiting to place blame.
While a former Russian double agent and his daughter remain unconscious a week after being poisoned with a nerve agent, the British government is not yet willing to blame Russia. Treasury Secretary Philip Hammond says wait for the police to complete their investigation.
If there were to be an involvement of a foreign state, then obviously that would be very serious, and the government would respond appropriately.
Russia says it's not responsible. Larry Miller, CBS News, London.
Send tips and photos to your story at CJAD.com. From the Dormivo Weather Center, mainly cloudy this afternoon with the odd flurry, high of 1. Partly cloudy for tonight, down to -4 tomorrow. Mix of sun and cloud, high of 3. And then snow, high of -1 right now for Tuesday. Temperature at the moment in Montreal is 1 degree. I'm Luciano D'Iorio. Next update at 1:30. Breaking news as it happens. News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
The opinions expressed in the following program are provided for general information purposes only and should not be construed as advice from CJAD 800 or Bell Media. Listeners should always consult their own advisor with questions or concerns. The following is sponsored content.
The Real Estate Show on CJAD 800. Your real estate and mortgaging questions answered with Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages. Here's your host, Chantal Desjardins.
And happy Sunday afternoon, everyone. I am your host, Terry Kilakos, on CJAD 800's The Real Estate Show. As you can probably have already guessed, I am not Chantal Desjardins. Chantal Desjardins right now is in Sri Lanka. The last Instagram picture that I saw of her, she was actually being stalked by an elephant. So I'm looking forward to her getting back next week to tell us all about the exciting time that she's had in Sri Lanka. Hopefully from now until then, she doesn't get eaten by a lion or something, as she was thinking that she would. Anyways, so we are here at CJD Studios. Today is going to be a little bit of a busy show. We have Rebecca Perez here from Goss Club, who's going to be talking to us a little bit about her upcoming real estate event that she's going to be having in Montreal. As well, in studio today, we will have Luciano D'Iorio from Cushman and Wakefield. He's the managing director, as well as Pierre Atalla from Northeast Commercial, who will be discussing the different aspects of buying, selling, and financing commercial real estate. But before we get into it, a quick little market update. This week on March 7th, as we predicted last week, the Bank of Canada did not raise interest rates. The next announcement is scheduled for April 18th. Included in the interest rate announcement on April 18th, there will be the monetary policy report that's going to be coming in. My prediction, I think it's going to stay as is again. I don't think that there's going to be an increase in the rates. I'd be curious to see what everyone out there in radio land is thinking. And on Facebook land, you can actually text us at 514-800, or if you want to call and join the conversation, you can call us at 514-790-0800. But before we continue on with our show, I have the beautiful Rebecca Perez here sitting in front of me at the... Hey, Rebecca, who was you literally just ran into the station because I think you forgot that the time had actually changed.
Yes, I did actually.
You did? Okay.
I think everyone else did too.
Yeah, I think so also. Well, I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, it's a beautiful Sunday. Yeah. I looked over at the clock. I was like, it's awesome. It was like 7 or something. I go downstairs. I said, my wife looks at me. She's like, you're still sleeping. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what are you talking about? It was just 7 when I rolled out of bed. Yeah. It didn't take me an hour to get, and she's like, no, time change. And that's it. That throws like your whole day.
Yeah. And then you're like, wow, I feel like I'm wasting an hour now.
Yeah, exactly. So talk to us. You have your event coming up on March 22nd, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's happening at the CIBC Tower this year, 1155 Renelle Levesque. Bigger than last year, twice as big. We have like beautiful Lamborghinis lined up in front with, it's going to be, it's
Can I take them out for a test drive?
I think so.
Nice,
we'll make an exception for the Terry Kilakos team. So we have really exciting panelists this year. I'm co-hosting it with Amy Assad. We have Vincent Chiara on the panel, who's the president of Groupe Mac. Ilan Gowertz from Proment, and a lot of other ones in a lawyer. We have a really interesting lawyer on the panel, Adam Saskin from Faskin. And some other developers and investors.
Okay.
So it's going to be.
Who would you recommend this event for? Is it more for the real estate world, so people that are, real estate agents, brokers, or is it open to the general public as well?
We're looking for professionals, so doctors, architects, lawyers, who either want to purchase their homes or know about, like you said, the current rates and all these things that are happening in 2018, as well as real estate brokers, commercial brokers, because they also need to network and meet with those kind of people.
Okay. And this is, I think, the second year that you're doing this?
Yeah, second edition. You were on the first.
That's right, yeah.
And now you're attending as a guest, but you'll be on our next one.
Awesome. Very cool. So the second one, I remember last year's event was fantastic. You had done it at the Wonder Bar, which led me to do our Christmas party at the Wonder Bar, which then led to the Wonder Bar closing after our Christmas party, which...
You guys turned down the place.
Yeah, we won't be talking about that, but anyways. So if people want to get tickets to the event, how do they go about it?
So it's on the Eventbrite. You just press eventbrite.com and you look up Bigossi Real Estate or just any real estate networking, and it shows up. We have pretty good Google ranking.
Okay, so right away, like if you go to the Eventbrite website, you'll be able to get the tickets?
Yes.
And how much are the tickets for the event?
So they're $45 for 2 cocktails and $55 if you want premium cocktails.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and it includes appetizers, gift bags, the networking, conference, everything.
Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to it. Myself and my team are actually gonna all be there, so that's gonna be it's gonna be a fun event. You want to give us a little bit of a sneak preview? What are you guys going to be talking about?
Yes, so we actually did that on we did a behind the scenes video last week with Amy at the branch.
Okay.
So we're going to be discussing topics, the real estate market today, the current market, where it's going, foreign investments also, because that's something that's happening a lot in Montreal, right? A lot of foreigners who are coming in and buying properties or investing in properties.
Sure.
A lot to do with mortgage rates this year, right? 2018, things are changing. And also in terms of the investment markets, so the REITs, sorry. So they're going to be also discussing their own updates.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Well, you know what? It sounds interesting. Honestly, I think that you do an amazing job with the event every year. Last year was fantastic. I'm sure this year is going to be really good. Do you want to give us a little bit of an update? What kind of other events are you going to have this year? But also, what is Goss Club?
Yes. A lot of people ask me that. I love that question.
Yeah. So what is it?
So I call it a networking platform for entrepreneurs.
Okay.
I think I brought it down to that one sentence now. So we do networking events, always catered to different industries. So we have real estate now. We have a gastronomy panel coming up at the W.
Wow.
That's in April, yeah. So we're going to have chefs and restaurateurs on a panel. Our next one's going to be architect and design. So that's also going to be really interesting because it's going to kind of go with the real estate networking, right? It's the same type of people. And then medical, like we did last year. We had an October 11, we had the medical panel.
Okay.
So we put doctors on a panel who are entrepreneurs as well and seeing how they deal with running a business and being, a medical practitioner. So that was a very interesting networking event. Apparently it was the first of its kind, so that was very fun. And that's it. So we're going to be doing networking events every month, hopefully, always in different fields, and then reoccurring ones yearly, just like this real estate, for example.
Very, very cool. Well, you know what? I'm looking forward to it. You want to give the information one more time about the...
So Bigossi Real Estate Networking happening March 22nd at the CIBC Tower, and you can get the tickets directly on Eventbrite, or if you're following Goss Club already, you can go directly on our Facebook page or on gossclub.com, and the ticket links are also there.
Okay, very cool. That was the voice of Rebecca Perez from Goss Club, who is going to be having her event, the real estate event, on March 22nd. On the other side of the break, we're going to be having a fairly busy show, as I mentioned. We're going to have, again, in studio, Luciano D'Iorio from Cushman and Wakefield, the managing director. As well, we're going to have Pierre Atalla from Northeast Commercial. They will both be discussing different aspects of buying and selling and financing commercial real estate as well as multi-units. So for anyone that's interested in investing in real estate and basically looking to buy multi-units or commercial properties, this is definitely the show for them. Northeast Commercial was something that was launched fairly recently by myself and my wife Marav. Actually, Marav is is the president of Northeast Commercial, and Pierre Atalla is the agency executive officer. I wish you guys could see it. There's a big smile coming from her right now. It was something that we always did. We were always doing multi-units and commercial, but now we've really honed it down, and we're decided to really focus and specialize on that aspect of commercial and multi-unit lending, just because there was a huge demand for it. Our clients were demanding it, and it's something that I'm really happy to be able to offer. And Pierre Atalla, who is the agency executive officer, has been in the industry probably for, I don't know, I think if you take every single mortgage broker in my company and you put all the experience together, it doesn't equal the experience that this man has. He's a beautiful man. I love him to death, and he's a great addition to our team. So now, without further ado, at the other end of the traffic, we're going to have that. So now on to CJAD's 800 Traffic Center with Kira Yeager.
We are dealing with a lot of weekend-long road work out there. It's affecting the ride in a few different areas. We do have the inbound Champlain quite difficult with a 30-minute delay on the bridge due to a closure we have on the 15 north from Nuns Island to Gaétan-La-Berge. Detours onto the Bonaventure autoroute. So to avoid that congestion and that detour, another bridge in from the South Shore is a very good idea. Victoria Jacques Cartier working very well. Inbound La Fontaine Tunnel, however, is not recommended. You are backing heavily out to Desmartines right now. There is some road work going on inside the tunnel. And the westbound Ville-Marie is slowing from Fort Street due to all the ramp closures. Spring is here. Lease the Infinity Q60 Sport Coupe for $258 semi-monthly for 48 months. Offer ends soon. Visit your Montreal Infinity retailer today. Let us know what you see on the roads. Call in your tips to star 800. Next report 1:30.
The Real Estate Show is brought to you by Northeast Mortgages.
You want to try out many different mattress models before making such a big decision. So, make it a point to drop by the Bois-Martineau Sleep Galleries. You'll benefit from loads of low prices on the largest selection. And if you ever run out of time in store, not to worry. Thanks to our comfort guarantee, you can test out your new mattress at home for up to 90 days. And while you're in store, don't forget to fill out a contest entry form, as we're drawing 50 trips to Mexico for 2 people to the all-inclusive Ocean Riviera Paradise in Playa del Carmen. A $162,500 total prize value. No purchase required. All right, back to the mattresses. A Serta mattress and box spring set with individually pocketed coils, the double size, $19.42 a month or $6.99. That's really inexpensive. And as always, our delivery is free all week long. With our loads of low prices promotion and the chance to win a trip to the south, come in and take advantage by filling out your contest entry form. Bois-Martineau, about equality and price, selected brands and models.
Olympus Windows and Doors are specialists, not salespeople. In fact, when you call Olympus, you won't speak with a salesperson, you'll speak with a specialist. They'll always answer the phone, Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and have someone at your home within 24 hours. They'll work to make sure you get the best products and service at the best possible price. With Olympus Windows and Doors, you come first. They stake their reputation on it. Olympus Windows and Doors. Service, quality, price. OLYMPAS.ca.
Buying contact lenses? ContactLensKing.com. At ContactLensKing.com, just choose your brand, fill in your prescription, and have your new lenses delivered right to your door. That's it. Save up to 70% on Air Optics, AccuView, dailies, and more. ContactLensKing.com. No more hassles, just savings. So order your contact lenses today. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back.
ContactLensKing.com. It's so easy. ContactLensKing.com.
Mornings at Tim's start with 2 decisions: savory sausage or mouth-watering bacon, home-style biscuit or toasted English muffin. Tim Hortons' delicious breakfast sandwiches are now 2 for just $5, so you can enjoy it all. Get your choice of sausage or bacon on a biscuit or English muffin, all with an egg omelet and melted cheesy goodness. So the only decision left is drive-through or walk-in. Plus taxes, some restrictions apply. Available at participating restaurants for a limited time.
You're tuned in to The Real Estate Show on CJAD 800 with Chantal Desjardins and Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages.
And we are back. Good Sunday afternoon, everyone. Okay, so in studio, Rebecca has left, and now we have Pierre and Luciano sitting here. So if anybody wants to join the conversation, again, you could join the conversation by calling the station at 514-790-0800 or by sending in a text at 514-800. We do have a couple of texts that came in. We'll get to them shortly. But before we start, gentlemen, how are you doing? Luciano, you're okay?
Great, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Pierre?
Very good, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. So, Luciano, let's start with you. Do you want to give us a small review of the market for 2017? What were some of the positive or negative factors that went on?
Sure. So why don't I start with the negative? I'd like to end with the positive.
Sure, absolutely.
Some of the negative that we saw was on the office side
Okay.
of commercial real estate. What we saw is that there was a slight increase in the vacancy. So overall, in the general Montreal area market, we saw a slight increase in vacancy, and so that is having people wonder, is this a long-term thing? Is this something that's is gonna take us into 2018 and 19? I think that that vacancy can probably be explained by some of the inventory that has come onto the market. Some of the older buildings that we saw in the Mile End, Mile X area that were not office buildings that have been converted into office buildings. That's what's added to the inventory, and so that's why the slight increase in the vacancy. So that's, I would say that's a negative, certainly, that we've seen on the office side. But really hard to come up with some of the negatives if you think about it for 2017, because in general, 2017 was a good year. On the industrial side, I would say what the negative there is for tenants looking for space. Anyone who's on the market looking for an industrial warehouse or or even a manufacturing area, they have a really hard time finding space on the island of Montreal. If you look at the example of Molson's is going to be building a new brewery. They're not building it on the island of Montreal. They're actually going off into Longueuil to build it.
Interesting.
And so that's why, so basically, if you're a tenant or if you're an owner-occupier looking to, to buy an industrial building or looking to lease an industrial building, that was sort of the bad news for you and the negative of 2017.
Okay, let's switch over now to the positive. What was good?
What was good? Well, what was good is that there's large spaces. Landlords, basically on the office side, are having some of their best years ever. They have an easier time to rent space. I've heard of some examples in certain parts of the of Montreal where tenants are actually running into bidding wars for spaces, and that deposits need to be sort of put in right away with the offer because they may lose the space. And so that's something that hasn't been seen. I know we've seen that on the residential side, but on the commercial side we've never really seen that.
Is that right across the board, or do you find that it's localized in certain areas?
Certain neighborhoods like Mile End, Mile X, again, that whole AI, artificial intelligence sector that's sort of being developed in the Mile End area, Mile X area, that's certainly driving some of that increased demand. And so landlords are basically they don't have necessarily the supply to meet that demand.
Interesting.
So,
and Pierre, sorry, am I?
Well, I was going to just say in terms of on the positive side also, on the industrial in the industrial market, landlords are seeing again there's a increase in demand and a decrease of supply, and so we're seeing record levels of there's basically high occupancy and low vacancy on the industrial side. So good news for in 2017 and spilling over into 2018 for sure.
Do you think you're mentioning this, and it's we have a lot of clients as well that are looking for properties, and they're looking for those industrial properties to rent out. Do you find that the older industrial buildings are having a harder time to rent out or to sell, or is it more is there, and I'm talking about if you drive along the 40, you'll end up seeing like these industrial properties that are along the sides of the road. Some of them have been vacant. Other of them are, I call it pseudo vacant, where yes, they're vacant, but there's actually something. It looks vacant, but there's something actually going on inside. What do you What have you seen with that?
Well, what we're seeing now is because of the whole demand in cryptocurrency and the Bitcoin cryptocurrency and the cannabis industries. Those are industries that are looking at some of these buildings that are, I would call buildings that are not built for today's economy in terms of, you have some of these industrial buildings that are 18-foot clear and 20 feet clear. These are buildings that were built in the 1960s and 70s. They weren't built for today's market. Today, if you're looking for space on the industrial side and you're doing warehousing or distribution, you're looking for a clear height of at least 24 feet. And so these smaller buildings now are becoming attractive to the cryptocurrencies that don't necessarily need the height, because basically what they're doing is they have a data center. What they need is power.
Okay, interesting.
But certainly along the 40, I agree with you, Terry, along the 40, there are certain buildings that you see. I mean, some of the signs are so faded that the sun,
That's right.
They need to be replaced.
Absolutely, definitely. Pierre, Pierre Atalla here in studio as well with us. In the years that you've been doing commercial financing, what is some advice you can give to potential borrowers looking to finance a multi-unit commercial or industrial properties?
Well, my first advice would be to not to shy away from hiring a commercial broker.
Sure.
Because by definition, broker with the experience of the market, with his knowledge of the market, the lenders, knows exactly what is where to place the product and to obtain the best terms and condition to his client. Now, as far as the borrower is concerned, it is important that the borrower identify and understands his needs and express them and clearly expresses them to the broker or the lender, as the case may be. He must have reasonable expectations. I mean, he cannot ask for X million of dollars when the assets he's giving as security do not match it. Yeah. He has to surround himself with the right and experienced professionals and consultants, because during the course of the process he will need to have access to these professionals. He has to avail himself with the adequate documentation, be it on the property itself and the financials that goes with it, both on the property and on himself personally. And lastly, he should call Northeast Commercial.
Absolutely,
in order
I
to
agree.
have
Hear to that.
the proper professional to reach his goals.
Absolutely. There's a few texts that came in. I'm going to try and answer this one really quickly. Hi, I have two questions. I'm in the process of purchasing my first house now. Tomorrow I have the inspection to do, even though we agreed on a sale price for the house. After the inspection, if they come up with something, am I able to renegotiate on the price again? And my second question is, can you recommend me anyone for a good home insurance? Actually, you know what? That is a long question, and I have a long answer for it. So we're going to get to that probably after the break. So in studio again, we have Luciano D'Iorio. I'm not butchering the name, right?
Not at all.
Okay. And Pierre Atalla from Northeast Commercial. Stay tuned after the news at 1:30. We'll be back. And so we'll see you guys at 1:35 about. Yeah. So we'll be back.
The Real Estate Show is brought to you by Northeast Mortgages.
Ladies, we love our high heels, right? But what we don't love is that awful stinging pressure on the balls of our feet. I'm Erin Melinda Beaucaire for Intel.
No swearing. By the way, guys, that was a disaster crossover. Like, that's what you call
You were alright. First time.
Done.
Okay. So I'm just repositioning because you really lean back, lean front. What do you mean?
I can't just stay in one spot. I'm not like a robot. So how do you guys find it? It goes fast. It does go fast. Honestly, it's not...
should bring that clock to work.
Which one? That one?
Oh my God.
Yeah. So we're gonna go to news, and then after news, there'll be a couple of ads that'll run, and then we'll be back around 1:34, 1:35, something. So we got a question here also that came in. Question for Luciano. What would you say are the next hot neighborhoods? Mike from Mile End have already blown up. What's next?
Okay.
But that he's talking on the commercial
Mile
side?
Yeah, on the commercial side.
Yeah.
You want to answer it? Is there anything you want to say on Facebook Live?
So you want me to say that on air, or?
What's that?
You want me to say that now on?
No. We'll go on. On air. Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't sure if you wanted to answer it now.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
answer it now. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go get a little bit of a little bit of caffeine.
Really?
Yeah, we have time.
Okay, I'll entertain Facebook Live. Hi, Facebook Live! Okay, let's see.
Good
What are the
afternoon,
questions
this is
out there?
Here's us making news at 1:30. Sun Youth and the Red Cross are helping 10 residents forced by a major fire in the plateau today. No one injured in the blaze at restaurant Universal, corner Saint-Denis and Cherrier, which spread through to apartments above.
So it was our son's 11th birthday this weekend.
Most of the workers in
We
Montreal
had fun.
accepted a contract.
Like my son was on the 21st of February.
Oh yeah?
11.
Very nice. He's March 7th, and then this week we have our 18-year-olds.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's officially legal.
It's been more than 12 hours since Doug Ford was declared the winner of the chaotic.
What do you guys usually do on Sundays?
Not your typical Italian lunch.
No?
No.
Usually it's the lunch, the family lunch. No?
No, we just chill or to get run errands or homework. The kids are doing homework right now, so.
Nice. A lot of people now are doing that. They do homework on Sunday for the whole week.
Yeah.
From the CJAD
That's smart.
800 traffic center,
It's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot.
They're loaded with a lot of homework. So.
After school also, they don't feel like doing homework. It's hard.
Sorry?
After school, it's hard to, you could take off one year.
And we do have the inbound Champlain very
That's it.
difficult with a half-hour delay.
Because you haven't heard
Well, it's
talking.
because I'm lowering it. But
15 north at Nuns Island, detour onto Bonaventure. Avoid
Is there any specific one you want to head to right away that you want to make sure you get in there? Which number?
in terms of questions,
Yeah. That was fast.
Yeah, I just want to get coffee. But I think you're more entertaining than I am.
No, it's fine.
you may want to, based on that question, you may want to head to that. Do commercial developments affect
Residential?
residential?
Yeah, seeing as there's that question from that texter.
Which one?
Maybe we'll jump directly to number 5. Okay. And then you can jump back to
For
number
more
4.
information, traffic and transit every 15 minutes on
You wanna do that?
CJAD.
So you want me to go to number 5 and then switch over
And
to
then
number
just go back to the other one. Just because you have that question regarding parquets.
Yeah.
On my line.
Well, I'm just gonna answer this guy right here for now, and then I'll switch over back to Luciano for his, and then we'll go to. I think we should go to Pierre after.
Next update.
Okay. Yeah, so skip to
News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
The Real Estate Show is brought to you by Northeast Mortgages.
Hi, Ken Connors from Matelas Dauphin. Did you know they're one of Quebec's largest mattress manufacturers? That's right, they are. They build them here, and that's their strength. They build these exceptional quality mattresses at unbeatable prices with an unbeatable guarantee, too. And to celebrate the opening of their new St. Hubert store, they're offering you 50% off all Matelas Dauphin mattresses and box springs. Matelas Dauphin, now at 1587 Boulevard des Promenades in St. Hubert. Matelas Dauphin, the strength of the manufacturer since 1970.
If your dogs or your friends spill stuff or otherwise damage your carpets, I can clean and repair them. I am Shuja Bashir of Bashir Persian Carpets.
Call 514-735-1958 or visit BashirCarpets.com.
Mitsubishi Motors has the world's most advanced all-wheel control system because not only does it transfer power to
the rear wheels when the front wheels lose traction,
and vice versa,
it also transfers front power
from side to side.
The world's most advanced
all-wheel control system. Mitsubishi Motors has made the best warranty in the business even better. So hurry in and get a no-charge extended warranty with the purchase of select vehicles. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Visit MitsubishiMotors.ca.
EcoCollect is all you need for junk removal in Montreal. EcoCollect picks up furniture, appliances, reno waste, and more. Sorts, loads, recycles. The only number you need to call for junk removal in Montreal, 1-866-927-5865.
Napoleon knew an armée marches on its stomach. So order in La Prep Frais du Jour for your business breakfast meetings, office luncheons, and receptions. Taste-pleasing gourmet baked treats, sandwiches, soups, and salads catered in 24 hours. See more and order at laprep.com.
Save hundreds of dollars on marble, quartz, or granite countertops for your kitchen or bathroom. At Richad Marble, you buy quality products direct from the manufacturer. Richad Marble and Granite, serving customers since 2004. RichadMarble.com or at 740 Renault in Dorval. Northeast Mortgages presents The Real Estate Show with Chantal Desjardins and Terry Kilakos, live online and on CJAD 800.
I love that song. Okay, so before the break, we had a text that came in. I'm just going to repeat it. Hi, I have two questions. I'm in the process of purchasing my first house now, tomorrow. I have the inspection to do, even though we agreed on a sale price for the house. After the inspection, if they come up with something, am I able to renegotiate on the price again? And my second question is, can you recommend anyone good for home insurance? Okay, so here's the most important thing that you need to understand. Once you've negotiated on a price, when you go in and you renegotiate afterwards, after the home inspection, obviously there needs to be something in there. You shouldn't be going into a home inspection trying to find things to renegotiate for. Plus, when you actually renegotiate on after a home inspection, it could turn around and bite you, and I'll explain to you why. Let's say you've agreed on a price of $300,000. After the home inspection, you discover the roof needs to be done. There's some asbestos tiles over a furnace. There's a whole bunch of stuff that comes up, and you go back to the vendor and you say, well, I want to renegotiate the price because I noticed there's the roof and there's some asbestos tiles and there's a whole bunch of stuff like that that I need to remove. So I'm going to remove $10,000, $15,000 off the price. When that occurs, the bank is going to want to see that amendment. When they see the amendment and they see that there was a reduction because of issues in the house, that's going to open up a can of worms. It could potentially kill your deal. For example, if you have asbestos in a house, you can't get financing for it. So it's important that you got to be smart when you're actually setting things up and you're trying to renegotiate after an inspection. Be careful on how you word things and be careful on what you put in the contracts, because the bank will either pull your financing, or they could pull your financing, or they're going to force you to do what's called a purchase plus improvements. So it's important to stay on top of those things. The other part of the question, do I recommend a good home insurance person? We do have someone that we use at Northeast. If you want, you can give us a call actually at the office. His name is Mike George. I'll give you his number. You can call us at the office at 514-680-4674. Olympia, our beautiful assistant over there, would be more than happy to give you his contact info. Another text came in, Luciano. This one is for you. So question for Luciano. What would you say are the next hot neighborhoods? My land, my Lex have already blown up. What's next? That's from George.
So I often get that question actually as a real estate broker, and I would say that you need to be looking at where are we in terms of public transit and where are the public transit lines, either the metro line or look at the light rail system that's coming in. And those are really going to be the next neighborhoods, because what's happening now is there's a trend. Millennials are not using their automobiles. In fact, there's a study that shows that millennials are actually not even getting licenses.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
And so what's happening is that these neighborhoods where that are serviced by public transit are becoming hubs for live, work, and play. And so I would say the next, you need to look at where's the metro line. Follow the green line or follow the pink line, or follow the metro lines, and that'll be the answer really to that question.
Are you able to go? I remember when I bought my first property, one of the things that I actually had done is I had contacted the city, And this, this could be a question for either of you guys. I had contacted the city to find out which areas were actually getting subventions. So part of my decision process when I bought my first fourplex when I was 24 was, am I buying in an area that the municipality is trying to genderfy? Are we buying in an area where the city is giving subventions? Are people able to still do that? Pierre?
Yes, I heard of several districts and or locations where the city does subsidize. I know for fact that La Salle might be one. So yes, it exists obviously, but I'm not fully aware about all the.
And it's just as simple as, I mean, picking up the phone and calling the local offices, right? I mean,
the borough office.
The borough offices, and then by that you can kind of make a decision. Now, Pierre, I'm just going to kick a question over to you. This is something, I mean, we've talked about it on the show before about financing commercial properties, multi-units. What's the process like? You know, when someone is applying for a commercial mortgage. Actually, before I even get into that, I'm just going to say a quick story. I've known Pierre for probably, he doesn't remember me, but I've known you for the better part of, I don't know, 15 some odd years now.
That's great.
15 years ago, I had actually gone into Pierre's office when he was working at another agency, which he had created back then, and he had given me advice on how to buy commercial properties. So now I'm asking you the same question. What's the process like for commercial mortgages?
Well, the process always taking into consideration that you have already mandated, or that the broker, the commercial broker, has been mandated already. So the first process, obviously, is to gather all the information related to the property and to the borrower himself, analyze it, and prepare what we call an investment package, which would include the description of the property and the financial information on everything that relates to the property itself, and presented thereafter to one or several lenders at the same time. The lenders in return do their own underwriting of the proposal, the application that is done, and if they like what they see, they issue a letter of intent. Now, this letter of intent encompasses some condition that will have to be met by the borrower in order to arrive to the final commitment. Then once the commitment has been issued and accepted by the borrower, then the next stage becomes the taking of the security, and that will lead definitely to the funding of the loan.
Okay, interesting. Very, very interesting. We actually have a couple of texts that are coming in as well. Good afternoon, guys. My wife and I made a purchase of the condos going up on the site of the old Children's. Do you think that this would be a good purchase, Atwater, next to Mall Subway and next to Dawson College? What do you think?
Sure,
Luciano?
absolutely. I mean, I think that if you look at anytime you have institutions in the neighborhood, something like a Dawson College, that's not something that's going to go away anytime soon. You have metro access. You have close proximity to the downtown area. I'd say certainly in 5-10 years from now, you'd see the value. Of course, assuming that the buildings are well built and that and that they age well, because sometimes condos are not built so well, and so they don't age so well.
Interesting. And you know that the students that are going to be there are just fantastic, because all Dawson students are amazing. That's where I went to school. So actually, let's let's talk a little bit about something that I think confuses a lot of people, because a lot of times people think that when they're going to go and buy a 5 unit building or an 8 unit or a 10 unit, just because of what they've been told by the banks, they say, oh, that's commercial. Can you make the distinction, and either of you, I mean, by all means, you guys can answer this, but can you make the distinction for us between a commercial property, a multi-unit? What do you guys, what's the difference? I mean, if you want to...
Well, to me, the difference, I mean, in both instances, there are revenues and expenses that associate to each property. Now, I guess CMHC has segregated the type or the number of units. I presume there is a certain underwriting when you underwrite loans, for instances, of 5 units and less, as opposed to 5 units and more and up, and or a multi complex, a multi-unit complex. So I think it's just to segregate. It's just the connotation to segregate.
But would you be using the same type of lenders between the both? No.
No, no. The lenders that would do really
multi-unit residential. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll be back after the break. It's 1:45 now to CJAD 800 Traffic Center. You have Kira Yeager.
Good afternoon. We do have a number of issues out there right now. So Champlain Bridge inbound, avoid it if you can. There's a good...
Not bad, guys. Not bad. What do you think?
A little stressful, eh?
Did we have a call? I think we had a call. We just missed it. We sent this from a commercial property versus multi-residential. Done. No. Can you describe the application approval process? What do you do? Okay, that's good. Luciano, the commercial development. Okay, that's a good one. All right. So we'll go to number 5. Do commercial developments affect the residential real estate market as well?
Bridge is a fantastic option for you. And also we have a
any Facebook Live comments that you want to...
No, there's a whole bunch of people that are joining.
Saint-Denis has a closure Pine Avenue to Sherbrooke due to a fire at the corner of Saint-Denis and Cherrier.
Oh, what's happening now? It's pointing up here.
No, 2 seconds, yeah.
Did it? Is the mic live?
Yeah.
Oh, so everyone can hear us?
Everyone can hear you.
I can't swear like I did last time?
You could, but it's on Facebook Live.
Okay.
You swear on the air?
No,
not on the air, on Facebook Live. Actually, what happened was last week I ended up...
Yeah, please don't repeat.
I'm not going to repeat it. I don't know. I said like ass or something, right, on the air. And Rob's like, you can't say that. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can, because that's not part of the words that you can't say on radio. So what I ended up doing, I went on while we were on Facebook Live, and I went through all the stuff that you could say and can't say, and I said them out loud. And,
yes.
I don't think there was any. I was actually it's like the news. You can have someone swear. You can have someone swear in the news.
Trump does it all the time.
Yeah.
In the news?
He called somebody an SOB yesterday.
Oh,
like
yeah?
full on? Like SOB or
like
full on?
No, full on. Full on.
Oh, interesting.
A sleepy SOB.
A sleepy SOB.
Yeah, I was talking about Chuck Todd, this guy from that does Meet the Press on NBC. It's all over.
That is hilarious.
I love that guy.
You just lost all your viewers.
No, I didn't. Listen, do I agree that he's a good president? No.
Don't go into politics.
I'm not going to go into politics. I have my opinions. I actually have a Trump bobblehead in my office, which I also have my own. My wife is like, no, don't say it. I do. I'm not a supporter, but I'm not a supporter. You make the decision. Right?
This show's going back.
Like it's taking like a sideways tangent. Actually, you know what? The viewers just went up. As I'm talking about this, they're like spiking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh yeah, you can.
Actually, okay. Just a quick question. How many people out? Okay, I won't say it. Never mind. Okay, so how many people think that it's actually more entertaining with Chantal? I think it is. Eh? Yeah.
Are you calling yourself boring?
Do we all miss Chantal? No, it's just
because Chantal is the anchor and you are answering questions. You're at our place.
Exactly. Yeah. This is. This is a fantastic commercial.
Whether you're purchasing your first home or renewing an existing mortgage, one appointment with me is like meeting with over 20.
I'm just saying, it's a good commercial.
It is.
Oh my god.
It is hot in here.
We could actually turn down the...
Wow, it's really hot.
On a jusqu'à quelle heure? 2 heures?
Ouais, on a presque fini là.
We have another... We're going to be cutting out at 57.
Yeah, because they're going to put the commercials at the end.
Yeah.
Et celui qui est là-dedans, qu'est-ce qu'il fait?
He's the one that basically puts the commercials in, all that stuff.
Okay.
Attention, tu t'entends pas.
Dans un aquarium.
We've always wondered if he can hear. But he could hear now.
No, I don't think he's following Facebook Live.
Sauf l'aquarium.
5 minutes of commercials?
About, yeah.
That's
It's a popular show. So, we had, oh, is that a tease? Are we back?
You're back.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Terry Kilakos. If you want to join the conversation, by all means, you can text us at 514-800 or call in at 514-790-0800. If you want to reach us at the office, you can call at 514-680-4674. Okay, Luciano, quick question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do commercial developments actually affect residential real estate market as well? So when you actually have a commercial development going up, will it impact the actual regular market, the residential market?
I would say yes, and more. We're
Okay.
seeing a lot more mixed-use projects in the city. If we look at one of maybe the first examples or the early examples was the construction of the Bell Center.
Mhm.
I mean, for about 10 years or so, we didn't see any activity after the construction of the Bell Center, but soon after, we started seeing, condos going up in that neighborhood, and now there's condos, there's retail, there's bars, there's restaurants, all ancillary to what's going on at the Bell Center, and all depending on what's going on at the Bell Center, or at least in some way, shape, or form. So that's just one example. Mile End, Mile X, we talked about before. Again, those neighborhoods have been revitalized because of what's going on in some of the commercial conversions that are happening there. So some of those older industrial buildings that have been converted now to office space and for tech companies, it's attracting a lot of people in the neighborhood, and a lot of those people that work for those companies don't necessarily want to take their car to work or take public transit to work. They actually want to walk or bike to work.
Mhm.
So those neighborhoods are being affected. Griffintown is another example of mixed use developments where we see office space, residential, where we see retail. Really what we're seeing is a lot more mixed use, and certainly affecting the residential market in the neighborhoods.
Do you, Pierre, for yourself, I mean, when someone is applying for commercial financing, this could be a strange question, but if there is a strong residential market in the area on the commercial side, will it be more appealing to the banks? Does it actually help? Does it hinder? Is it?
No, I don't think so.
No,
no. No, it should not.
Okay. When someone is using a commercial mortgage broker, so when someone comes to Northeast Commercial, what can they expect? What are they?
Well, he expects that to have the right time from the broker,
Mhm.
that he tells him outright what can or cannot be done.
Mhm.
He expects a service with integrity. We service with integrity. He also expects a speedy and smooth process along the way. And he has to feel, I mean, the applicant or the borrower has to feel at all time that the broker represents his interest mainly during the course of the mandate.
And I mean, this is, just to kind of touch on a little bit about Northeast as a general, so when we're looking at whether it's Northeast Commercial, Northeast Financial, whether it's the mortgage side, the real estate side, the cornerstone cornerstone of our company, the philosophy that we all share between all the companies, I think, is primarily education. And we like to educate the clients. And one of the reasons why, like I had reached out to you when we were looking to create Northeast Commercial is because you educated me, right? So 15 years ago when I had gone to see Pierre, that's what he did. He sat down with me and Marav and gave us a nice coffee, and we sat around his boardroom table, and he said, look, this is what you guys need to do. And he helped us. He didn't say, you guys are young, you don't know what you're talking about. And I encourage people to give us a call. Anyone that's thinking about kind of going into the commercial world or the industrial world or even the multi-unit world, multi-res, whether it's semi-commercial, whatever, by all means, give us a call and we'll definitely be able to help you guys. On our end as well, on Northeast Commercial, business is just booming. The amount of, they say build it and it shall come, and that's what's kind of happened, right? So even if you're a commercial real estate or mortgage broker, by all means, give us a call and we'll find a place for you. We're actually hiring, so it could be interesting. We have a couple of minutes. I do have a interesting question here. Do either of you see the cannabis or crypto markets affecting the commercial real estate market?
Sorry, go ahead.
I would say yes. For sure, over the last few, maybe over the last 18 months or so, the calls to our offices has increased in terms of users that want to set up cryptocurrency mining, mining data centers because of the cheap electricity that's available in Quebec. And so the calls are actually coming from out of province, even out of country, because to cool a data center in a place like Montreal is less expensive just because of our climate. And these crypto mining, for the listeners to understand, it's basically just it's just data center. It's just computers that are running all day long, and they need a lot of power and a lot of cooling, and the cooling comes from the power as well. So definitely a lot of calls at this point on that, and on the cannabis as well. With the legislation coming into place, people want to get involved in that, and it's becoming a legitimate business. So that's what we're seeing.
Okay, excellent. And in terms of financing, Pierre, do you think we'll have problems financing the stuff for crypto and cannabis if it's legalized?
No, if it's legalized, I don't see
any issues with it.
Issues, no. It should not. It should not, no.
All right. We're quickly running out of real estate, as my friend Dan Laxer would say. Luciano, if people want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
514-841-3800.
And do you have any online presence as well? Facebook, anything?
We're on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. We're also on Twitter, and our website is cushmanwakefield.ca.
Excellent. And for Pierre, if somebody wants to get a hold of you,
it's 680-4674.
Okay, so that's the Northeast headquarters office, and of course, if you want to visit us online, northeastmortgages.ca. And I believe northeastcommercial.com and .ca are soon to be up and running. Now, that's it for us today. We'll see you guys next Sunday. Hope you enjoyed the Real Estate Show.
The opinions expressed in the preceding program were provided for general information purposes only and should not be construed as advice from CJAD 800 or Bell Media. Listeners should always consult their own advisor with questions or concerns. The proceeding was sponsored content.
Wow, you're glowing. I just joined Virgin Mobile and
Okay, are we on? I promise next week Chantal will be back, or I'll have Dan on. Come on, that wasn't that bad. What do you guys think? It wasn't that bad, right?
You forgot to do your contest for YouTube.
Okay.
So how did you enjoy your first experience?
Yes, it was fun. It was fun.
So for everyone that's watching, if you haven't already done so, please go newsonthego.ca, subscribe to our channel. That's our YouTube channel. Next week, we're going to be doing the draw, where we're going to be drawing 3 prizes of $100 each, cash. And there's going to be an extra prize for 2 weeks ago when I started talking about this. The first person that actually jumped onto the, took me up on it and actually subscribed to our channel, he is also going to be winning. I just gave it away. It's a mail. So we're going to be talking about this next week. And that's it. Looking forward to it. Have a good one, everyone. See you next week.